morning. Welcome back to Alright, What's Next? Today I'm going to go over a precision miter gauge for the table saw. I guess you can also use it on high-end drill bandsaws, but I don't have one of them right now. What typically comes with your contractor grade table saws is what I currently have, is these things. They work. You can dial them in, get somewhat accurate, decent freaking cuts. The rail is machined to be close, but there is slop and play. It's not a great deal of freaking slop and play, but it does wiggle in the slot. And if you're just going for construction, you're not looking for any sort of real precision, this does just a fine job. You can make your own fence for it, but they're actually kind of junk. And I was looking around for one on the internet, and I wanted to get one by a company called Incra, I think is how it's pronounced. Whether, I don't know. But they wanted freaking $185 for it, and it's like, Jesus Christ. All that I've got is a contractor grade table saw. And the one that I'm actually using right now isn't actually mine. I'm just borrowing it because the one that I own is an epic piece of shit. So it's just out there in freaking storage. I only use that when I'm doing raw construction. I got to rip a 2x4 in half to fit into a place or some shit when I'm working on a building out there on the farm. But the one that I'm borrowing actually does a pretty decent job, and I wanted a decent freaking miter gauge for it. And I found this one from Fulton, and it was $80. And it was still a lot of money. I didn't really want to freaking spend 80 bucks. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and grab it, as opposed to the nearly 200 for the Anchor one. I don't have them to do side-by-side comparisons. I don't know which one will be better. But I'm hoping for the considerably lower price that this one will do everything that I need, considering that I'm not a precision woodworker. So we got to get this out of the box, and we got to get it put together. Nice big heavy aluminum fence. That's not just a bag. That's actually sealed. It won't slide out of there. I need to sharpen my knife, but my doctors say I'm not allowed to have anything sharp. And here is the actual miter gauge portion of it. It's got a nice spring-loaded top right here that you lift off, and it's got already preset holes to do your common cuts for different pentagram, parallelogram, or shapes, to do common shapes. But we're going to set her at 0 degrees, and it says, from what I read, where are the instructions? How do you assemble this fucker? Alright. It's supposed to come pre-calibrated from the factory, but we're going to go ahead and test that real quick. So get yourself a machinist square, and then hope that your machinist square is actually, square. You got to trust that it is. Well, they're fucking gap right there. We're going to put the fence on. Then we'll gauge it. Because my machinist square won't go because there is a curve right here, so there's no way to actually. So, what do we got to do to get this fence on here? I would just slide the freaking bolts through. Alright, fence is on there. And I still can't calibrate it with my machinist square. Because it is not square. Did this come with... Alright, now we're square. We're dialed in at 0. We're square to the fence. What are all these other fuck parts for? Alright, so we got a delimajigger. That is going to be your repeatable stop. You're going to need repeatable cuts. You can just flip that thing down, butt your board up against there, just keep freaking put thine handle on. All right, now we got to get the tape put on. Got two different tapes. Let's see here. Take this off and we'll do the tape. So got a right to left and a left to right freaking reading tape, depending on how you want to freaking set it up. Put the tape on upside down. That way when you're leaning over and you're setting up your board, you're actually reading the tape properly. We'll just take this extra tape, stick it over there. I might use it for something. Nope. This little end piece right here, it won't fit my current table saw. So we got to take that out. We'll just throw it in my desk drawer over here to be forgotten about and never seen again. But it has spring-loaded plungers in it that you adjust out, and you want to adjust these out until it fits nice and tight in the grooves of your miter channel, but not so tight that it can't slide easily. Let's get these protruding out, and we'll take it over to the table saw and check it out. Okay, we got to adjust this front one in. This middle one in. down so I can do a... It's a little tight still. Just give them each about 1/8 of a turn here. All right, so with everything locked into place, there he is. Yeah, that fits nice and tight. So let's set this to a 30-degree cut. Bring the blade up. Got just a cheap piece of pine. We'll go ahead and just flip this guy up out of the way right here. My safety glasses on. All right, where's my blade height at? All right, let's see what she does.
The whole thing seems strange to me.
Got my 30 to 60 triangle out right here. And it is pretty much frickin' spot on perfect for a 30-degree cut. It lines up perfectly with the edges of that triangle. So you just gotta hope the triangle's freaking right. So that is far more precise than my old one. Plus, I can set it up for repeatable cuts. With that little doohickey right there. But you also can set your fence. Bring it in. Put a stop block right here so you can slide your freaking piece up against the stop block and then run the cut. You don't want to use your fence as your stop block because then your pieces can get wedged into right here and it's just going to kick back and it's going to fucking ruin your day. So, yeah, I've made one cut with it so far. Though it's not free, but I've been looking to try and expand my ability to do more precision cuts without having to try and make my own frickin' miter sled. Because I don't want to make a miter sled for somebody else's goddamn saw. Because I don't know how long I'll have this saw. And eventually I'm going to get my big permanent one. It's just, you know, apparently you don't have all the money in the world. So this will get me by for the time being. If this saw goes away, then this will just get put on a shelf until I can. All right, so I had my miter gauge all completely assembled and tested, and I was marginally happy with it. And it's like it wasn't what I wanted. I was like, I couldn't dial it in perfect. It was really freaking fiddly and difficult because of the way the freaking fence was set up. And it's like I couldn't use my freaking machinist square worth of shit. And it's like, you know what? It'll work. It's just not what I wanted. I was regretting my purchase. God, I should have just went and spent the $200 on the freaking expensive one. And I walked away from it. And I got to thinking about it. I come back and I look. And it's like, you know what? I put the fucking fence on upside down. Like, it didn't look like it would fit, but I took it back off. I flipped it over, slid it back onto the T-track. And sure as shit, I had that goddamn fence on upside down. So I had a half-inch gap between the bottom of the fence and the table. So it would just tip over. Friggin' I couldn't put my machinist square right up against it, and then along the miter bar. Like, I flipped it over, and it's like, well, goddamn. Went and grabbed my machinist square, clamped it to the miter bar, pulled this in, perfect freaking 90, adjusted the needle, got it all dialed in, and it's like, awesome. It's like, now I'm way happy that I freaking bought this thing. And it's like, you know what? This thing's extremely accurate. Now I can start on this project that I wanted to do, making something that I'll get to and explain later. But, yeah, I'm an idiot. Before anybody says anything, it's not the bush light's fault. Never blame the bush light, okay? It's because I'm a fucking moron. Now I have my really nice miter gauge. I'm really freaking happy. Now I'll say goodbye. I'll see you next time. Subscribe. Come back and see what other kind of freaking stupid moronic things I can screw up.